Hello, Kipsters. Happy Wednesday. We are almost to the weekend, that much closer. I know Mr. Isaac is very excited for the weekend, and I'm sure you are as well. Today, we are going to begin our final segment of this Nearpod music lesson series we've been working on, and we are going to dive into the concept of harmony. Now, yesterday and Monday, we worked on melody, and remember, melody was the identifiable tune of the music. So if you were thinking of your favorite song, as I've been using as an example, you think of your favorite song, and then you were singing it in your head. That is the melody of the song. Today we are going to talk about harmony. Okay, so harmony is just a quick example. Harmony is the sounds in the music that you hear that isn't the melody. So obviously, it's not just melody the whole time. Otherwise, it would be kind of boring. You got to hear the backup vocals or the backup instruments that make the music just that much more interesting. So we're going to dive into harmony. Hopefully we can get through it in 2 Nearpods. If not, that is okay, but that is my goal for the day. So you should be following along in Nearpod. So you have the link on your Class Dojo, your Google Classroom. Go ahead and just click that link and it should bring you right to this page. And you should also be following along with the YouTube video as you go. Okay, so same formula as we've been doing. When you are there, I'm going to say next. And when I say next, that is when you click the blue arrow. Okay. So we're going to start now. An overview of harmony, part 1. Next, go ahead and click the arrow. And click it again. This is just for me, so that I know what we need for the lesson. Next again, essential question. How is harmony used in music? Okay, so remember we talked about how melody was used in music. Now we're talking about how harmony is used in music. And this is, like I said, our final piece of this series, all right? How is harmony used in music? Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define and recognize harmony, compare harmony to melody, and explain how harmony is used to communicate different feelings in music. Okay, so I got a couple cool videos for you. I'm going to show you a couple that aren't actually in this Nearpod, and you can just follow along on the YouTube video. But lots of cool examples of harmony that I'm really excited to show you guys today. Okay, and our last one: explain how harmony is used to communicate different feelings in music. All right, so that last one's a little deep for us, but I'm sure we can get the concept down. Go ahead and click next. We are on Let's Get Started. So if you're not on that slide, go ahead and get to it, and then we will begin with you. Go ahead and click Next, and we will begin. Exploring harmony. So today we are going to start off class by creating harmony using Chrome Music Lab. So again, we are back in Chrome Music Lab, our tool we have been using almost every Nearpod we've been doing recently. Make sure you're very aware that when we click Next, there will be a pop-up on your window. Don't exit out. You're going to need that. As you click on a piano key, watch what happens to the other keys. How does the sound change? So as you're clicking on this, go ahead and just explore yourself around. Think of this question. Watch what happens to the other keys. How does the sound change? All right, you can watch me and listen, or you can do it on your own, but you have to pause me probably. All right, so I'm going to go work in this. So I'm just going to press some buttons and see what happens. Okay, so as you see, when I press one button, 2 other buttons light up. Watch. All right, so what this is doing is making a chord. All right, as you can see up here, it says chords. It's making a chord. So say, for instance, that your melody started off on this note right here, the bottom note, the C. All right, if you were good at reading piano, you would know that note is C. C would most likely be the beginning of the melody, whereas E and G, the other 2 lit up piano keys, would be the harmony. They're making the harmony. They're making the chord. So they're filling out the actual chord and making it sound a little more full. So as I press, 2 other keys always get lit up because 2 other keys are going to be what your harmony is, at least for this specific example. So you can go ahead and play around with that. You can even click down here and you'll see that that 2 other keys light up, but now it sounds a little different. Listen. Compared to this. All right, it's just a minor difference. And that's why, I mean, that's funny because it's called minor, but it is a difference. So when we would do I'll do it like this. Many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight, mighty nice. All right, and then this one will be Mama made me mash my M&Ms. Mama made me mash my M&Ms. All right, so that one was major. The only minor scale that we do when we're working with singing is many mumbling mice. All right, the other ones are usually major. So minor, it just means it's a little sad, and major means it's happy, essentially. All right. So hopefully you had fun with that. You can press around with that, X out of it when you're done and ready, and go ahead and click next on the Nearpod. What happened to the sound when you clicked on a piano key? So if you remember when we clicked on one key, two other keys lit up. So we're going to put when I clicked the piano key, two other keys played as well, making a chord. So that's essentially what happened. We made a chord. Why did it happen like that? Why? Why did we make a chord? I think that was because the program said to. Let's see. Why? What happened to the sound when you clicked on a piano key? The Nearpod was about chords, so it made a chord automatically. Now that's a pretty advanced answer, and I'm just going to put this so you guys can see it. But essentially, that is what happened. Why? Because when you clicked on a note, it made the chord for you automatically. All right. So if you think of an easier why to put, go ahead and put that. But essentially, I put the answer here for you. It's a little tricky to answer that question, but I'm sure you guys can come up with something there. Go ahead and click next when you get that turned in. Read a couple, like a couple if you would like. And we are on the Let's Learn slide. All right. So once you get to the Let's Learn slide, go ahead and click next, and we will begin our next section. Today we're going to learn about harmony. We will practice recognizing harmony and comparing it to melody. We will also examine how harmony is used to communicate different feelings. Learning about harmony is important because it is a valuable tool for creating and performing music, much like dynamics, much like rhythm, much like melody. It is very important as well to creating music, to creating very interesting and fun music. Okay, and I think one of the parts is talking about how harmony is used to communicate feelings. Like I was saying, how there's major and there's minor. Because of harmony, that is how we can tell that the music is a little more sad or a little more happy than just the melody. So we can't always tell if a song is happy or sad because of the melody, but we can, don't get me wrong, but we can certainly tell what the vibe is or what the feeling is because of harmony, because it makes it so easy for us to hear. All right. So hopefully we get a little bit better at that as we go. That is the objective, and hopefully we meet that goal. All right, clicking next on your slide, we're going to listen to a song by the Beach Boys. They're going to sing Good Vibrations. As you're listening to this, think about whether all the singers are singing the same melody. So you have the main melody, right? As you're listening, try to see if everyone is singing the same note. So you're going to go to YouTube. We're going to change the song, actually. All right. I'm going to go to YouTube, and you're going to be watching my YouTube screen. And I'm going to pick a song by this a cappella group. And we're going to click this one. Sorry, it took a bit, but we're going to click this one. And why don't you listen to all the singers? Are they all singing the same melody? All right. Got to add here. Taking a bit. Again, as you listen, try to see if everyone is singing the same music. You see we have a mix of low voices and the higher voices. And you see the guy with the hat right here? He's creating the rhythm for them.
I walk the line. When the light was gone,
which one's your favorite? Of course, gotta know this one.
Let me go. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me. Celebrate good times, come on.
Listen to the guy in the middle and the girl. Try to pinpoint their voices. Are they singing the same notes?
Say my name, when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. Keep running game. I want it that way. I don't want to meet your daddy. I remember when I lost my mind. I kissed a girl and I liked it. Taste of her cherry chapstick. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good
I hope you guys liked that. That is, if you want to look up their music, their name is Pentatonics. I might show a couple of their videos as we go. Sorry, some of the videos in here do not work as I would like. Sometimes the video becomes not available over time. Okay, so again, that is Pentatonics. They have so many videos on YouTube, so many cool videos. I would be glad to show you more of that as we go on. Okay, so we are back in the Nearpod. Sorry, I had to X out of the Nearpod. I am a silly teacher right now. Okay, back in the Nearpod. Hopefully it brings us back. If not, I will just skip ahead to where it was. I'm sorry about that, guys. I put my name in and everything. All right, so we're gonna skip. My bad. Please don't do what I did. Just be patient. And we are there. Okay, open-ended question. You should be on this page when you get on the Nearpod. Back to the Nearpod if you were watching me just then. Were all of the people singing the same melody? Why or why not? All of the... well, of course they weren't, because some of them were singing different notes, but they were singing the same words, but like I was saying when I asked you to listen to the guy and the guy was singing different notes or different pitches than the girl was, but they were the same. They were the same rhythm and the same words, just not the same pitch. So they were singing the same words, but not the same pitches. Okay, so they were singing the same words, but not the same pitches. That is why. All right. So essentially, that answer is good enough for 100%, where all the people sing the same melody. The singers switched between harmonies and melodies at different times. So during the whole song, some people, or at least one person, had the melody at one specific moment, and that changed throughout the song who that was. Okay. So if you had an answer like this, submit it, and you will get 100% on that specific question. And this says in the Beach Boys video, that's okay. We're going to talk about in the Pentatonics video, the singers were not all singing the melody, as we just answered. In fact, they were simultaneously singing at different pitches. So just like we talked to. When two or more pitches are combined at the same time, we call this harmony. Just like melody, not all harmony sounds the same because it depends which pitches are combined. So just an example. When two or more pitches are played at the same time, it's called melody. When you play two or more, you hear that's automatically different. That note on the back end, that is the harmony note, okay? So melody, harmony. Very simple when you think about it, okay? Just like melody, again, not all harmonies sound the same. So there are various amounts of harmonies, all right? Lots of different harmonies because it depends on which pitches are combined. So you heard just then I was comparing the third, which we don't know specifically about yet, but I was giving the third as the harmony. But I can also give the fourth as the harmony. Sorry, that was not the fourth. This is the fourth. I can also give the fifth. I can also give the sixth, seventh, and so many different. Okay, not all of them sound good, not all of them sound perfect, but there are a lot of them. All right. Second slide here. Go ahead and click that one if you're following along the Nearpod. Harmony is different than melody because there are two or more pitches happening at the same time. Think back to melody, the tune of the music. In a melody, there's only one pitch at a time. So listen again to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star like we worked on yesterday. Every note there you heard was only one note, one pitch. Although there was multiple notes, only one pitch at a time was being played. Listen to how it sounds when I add two notes. All right, just a whole different sound when you add another note to it, and it sounds a little bit more interesting than before. All right, so again, harmony, different than melody because melody is only one note at a time, whereas harmony is more than one note at a time, two or more pitches. Click next. Melody versus harmony. So next we're going to watch, hopefully this video works, an a cappella group performing How Deep Is Your Love. As you listen, try to recognize who is singing the melody and who is singing the harmony. Remember, the melody is the main tune of the music and the harmony is the other pitches occurring at the same time. So go ahead and click next, follow along in the Nearpod if you would like, or you can follow along on the YouTube video that I am playing with you. Okay? Remember again, we're listening to who's singing the melody and who's singing the harmony. Look at Robin. He's making the low notes. JB's making the main music. And everyone else is doing oohs and ahs. I'm going to give you an example of a video real quick that Mr. Isaac is even specifically in. Now, in this video, you're going to see one main singer, okay? and then you're going to see the rest of the people singing the oohs and the ahs. All right, so similar thing. Oops. Similar thing. You might see Mr. Isaac pop in here. This is from when I was in college. If you were with us last year, you might have seen this video. So you can hear the other people in the background singing the notes, making the music. They're singing the harmony.
Got my head spin, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind?
I got the hat on.
I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy. I know what hit me, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give you.
So I just wanted to give you a couple more examples and give you something a little more personal as well. But again, as you can see, even in this video, this guy was singing the bass notes, he was singing the higher notes, and he was singing the middle kind of notes. And then this guy was singing the main melody. So they were the harmony guys, and he was the melody guy. So again, one melody, multiple harmonies, or two or more, okay? Always fun to remember that. Go ahead and click next if you're following along. How could you tell the difference between the melody and harmony? Or could you? How could you when you heard it? It's pretty obvious when you have a cappella groups, because usually there's the backup singers and then there's the one main guy. So usually a cappella groups make it pretty easy for you to hear. But how could you do it? Did you easily do it? Was it hard for you? Just think about it. It's okay. We're not going to share obviously out, but pretty simple when you consider what harmony is. You guys should be able to get it pretty quick. How can harmony enhance melody? In other words, what can harmony add to a song to make it better? So I'm going to put my answer here. Remember I was saying earlier, it just kind of makes it more interesting, more fun to listen to. It gives it some depth. So I think that's the answer I'm going to go with. Harmony gives the melody depth and character. Now that's kind of some personification there, I suppose, but harmony kind of makes melody more interesting. Harmony makes melody sound more interesting. So we got your boring melody, that it's the most noticeable one, but it's just kind of boring. That's all we hear. And then the melody behind it is what makes the melody sometimes even pop more because of how it sounds over top. All right. So if you have an answer like that, go ahead and put that in, and you can kind of write what I wrote here, or just come up with your own, whatever you think about harmony. This is all very much, you can do it on your own. And when you're done with that, click next. Go ahead and like a couple as well if you would like. Chords. So we're going to talk about chords a little bit. Harmony happens when there are two or more pitches sounded at the same time, as we've been saying over and over. Harmony is when two or more pitches are playing at the same time and compared to melody. We call these simultaneous pitches a chord. So when we're warming up and singing, every time Mr. Isaac goes like this, those are chords happening. You hear how it's a little bit more full than. That's a chord. So every day you're singing with chords, or not every day, but every day we warm up, you're hearing chords happening. Chord, 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 and one more, chord, chord. All right. So again, that's two or more pitches happening. Thus far, it is a chord or harmony happening. All right. Click the second slide here. In a sheet of music, a chord is represented by notes stacked vertically up and down. So if you can see here, I'll kind of zoom in. Hopefully you can see on my screen it's zooming in if you're watching YouTube. You can use two fingers to zoom in if you want to look at it closer. you see here that these red circles, they have 3 notes stacked on top of each other. So if I were looking at that right now and I'm on a piano, if I were to read this right now, this is what it would sound like. All right, I'm gonna see if I can read this without even practicing. That's a chord. That's another chord. Then I'm gonna add a note at the top. I'm gonna add a note at the top. And then I'm gonna add a note. I'm gonna change a chord at the bottom. You see how the notes change? That's still a chord, even though they're not stacked on top of each other. Okay. So you hear how the chords happen, and then on the top is the melody. All right, I'm going to play the chords again on my left hand and the melody in my right hand. You'll see, maybe you'll see a little bit happening over here. Hopefully, let me try to move this down. Let's see if you can see it. And those are whole notes. So how long am I supposed to hold those? How many beats? 4. So you're going to count. You can count with me if you want, so I can be held accountable. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Here's some quarter notes. Half note, quarter notes. All right. So you just watch Mr. Isaac play that music, and maybe you actually knew how to read it a little better because you've been focusing in on the Nearpods. And if so, kudos to you. That is what this is all about, my friends. Okay. Open-ended question. We are almost done with this lesson, guys. What are chords? How are they represented in sheet music? Chords are multiple notes stacked on top of each other. You can go ahead and just write that because that is the right answer. How are they represented in music? They are represented in music by notes stacked on top of each other. All right. Chords are multiple notes stacked on top of each other. They are represented in music by notes stacked on top of each other. I'm going to also put they add harmony to the melody. I think that'll be a sufficient answer. So if you have anything like that, one of those answers, multiple of those answers, all of them, go ahead and put that in. Remember, our chords, they look like this. This one is also a chord, although it is not as neatly stacked as this one. All right, don't get confused by that. And go ahead and click submit when you are done with that. All right. So I believe this video is going to take us into another, let me see how long it is before we go on, just in case. Yeah, so we're going to wait on this video until tomorrow. Hopefully we can get to the end of harmony by tomorrow. If not, that is okay. We'll continue the next week because this is a bigger concept. But again, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you guys taking the time out of your small groups to participate in your learning links for the day. As always, Mr. Isaac wants to say you are kind, you are smart, you are important. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow so that we are one day closer to the weekend. I know you're excited as I am. Again, have an awesome day, you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.